Hello, everybody. Jenny Lynn Coley here on tip number 2 of my 6 tips for having ease with your body. That comes straight out of my chapter in this amazing book collaboration, Breast Easy. That was actually published last year in 2017. So there are a total of 14 contributing authors to the book. I was one of them. And it's really an amazing, raw, real, vulnerable sharing of so many stories by all of these amazing women. They're all pictured here. Really talking about their journey of learning to love their breasts and their bodies, what that relationship has been like. And so I talk a lot in my chapter about some of the different things that I have experienced throughout my life that have contributed to my journey with learning to love my body and enjoying being in it. And at the very end, I share 6 tips for having ease with your body. And so yesterday I shared tip 1, which was eat the damn cake. And today, tip number 2 is actually create a life you love that's full of a lot of joy. Sounds really straightforward, right? I'm sure you probably have heard something similar before. Let's talk a minute, though, about what I mean by joy. Because I hear a lot of phrase that kind of gets a little under my skin. I'm not afraid to admit it gets under my skin. And it's when people say, find what brings you joy, or what brings you joy. And I struggle with that one a little bit. I gotta be really honest, because when I look at the core of, or the root of what joy is, it's like, it kind of insinuates that something outside of me is responsible for my happiness and my joy. And so to me, that just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't resonate. If it resonates with you, cool, awesome. Do what works for you. For me, it does not resonate for something outside of me to be the source of my joy or my happiness. Okay? I am joy. Like, that's my natural state. That's my natural being. That's the way I was born, right? Now, I may allow things that occur to alter that state and have it be something else. So I'm not saying it's not okay to be angry or frustrated or sad or whatever. Like, your emotions are there. They're great sources of information. Big fan of feeling your feelings fully and letting them go, Totally not saying discount your other feelings. And that's also not to say that there aren't things out there that can contribute to that joy. But those things, those circumstances, those situations are not the source of joy. So when I say create a life you love that's full of a lot of joy, it's like really, again, about having that awareness, that communion, that relationship with you and your body, and trusting what you know and who you are. And then also being willing to be aware of what things actually work for you and contributing to that joy. Is it going for a hike? Is it spending time in nature in some other form? Is it dancing? Is it really yummy orgasmic food? Yes, I love my foodgasms, so you'll probably hear me talk about those all the time. I love to enjoy really awesome foods that contribute to lighting up the cells in my body. There's just something about that. So that is a contribution to my joy, that energy, that natural exuberance that I already am, that I already be. And so, hi Adela, how are you? Welcome. And so we're talking about tip number 2 of 6 tips for having ease with your body. That is in the international bestseller Breast Easy, where I wrote a contributing chapter last year. And So tip number 2 is create a life you love that's full of a lot of joy. And so I just got done. Thank you for being here. I just got done kind of going through an explanation of what I mean by joy. And I know you already get this with all the access tools and just all of your wonderful knowing and being and awesomeness anyway. But I was just talking about how like joy is something that comes from here. There's nothing like outside that is the source of that. However, there are things that can contribute to that. So really looking at what are those things for you that contribute to more joyful experiences. Is it going on a vacation or spending time out in nature or yes, energy pools. I love energy pools. I am not going to get into that on this Facebook Live, but energy pools are really, really awesome. So that's kind of like a natural way we are and we be and something we naturally do without thinking about it anyway. Just kind of part of how we're made. But yeah, energy pools can be really yummy and really awesome for contributing to the creation of like creating more joy in our lives, right? So thank you, Adama. And if you don't know what an energy pool is, send a message. We can get into that conversation later, not on this Facebook Live. Definitely do love utilizing the energy pools and just being the natural energy pool that I already am. And so yeah, it might be that yummy foodgasm that you might get from having a really joyful meal. It could be sex. It could be anything. Like, what are those things for you that contribute to your joy? And then the more that you are willing to be that natural joy that you are and have more things in your life that are contributing to that joy, the more joyful experiences show up, right? This life's journey can be kind of crazy at times, and like we're creating all of it. Yes, we are. With our thoughts, our emotions, our points of view, our beliefs, our conclusions about things. Like we are literally creating every experience that shows up in our lives, and every single one can be a contribution in some form or fashion. And having more joyful experiences in the creation of everything that we're experiencing, more can show up when we're willing to actually have more and receive more and be more and choose more things that resonate with, are in alignment with, match the energy of the things that bring us joy. So it just kind of creates this almost natural snowball. That's not to say that nothing will ever happen that, might kind of seemingly derail you, deter you, might seem like it's not something that would be fun or joyful for you to have in your life. And again, those things can be a contribution as well. And the more that we're willing to receive the joy of us, which is really receiving all of us and not rejecting any parts of who we are, the more we're willing to receive all of that, the more joyful experiences show up, and maybe ones that we didn't even naturally think of. Like when you start getting into like really looking at the energy of the way that we create and the creation of our lives, sometimes we might think it's that car or that house or that job or that business or that relationship or that thing, right? That is what's going to bring the joy, but it might be something completely different that you never even imagined or thought of that matches the energy of that joy that you are, right? And so being willing to open up to have those surprises show up is really where a lot of the fun and the miracles and all that starts to occur as well. So, I mean, if you're happy in your misery or your problems or the way that you're looking at things or whatever it is you're creating in your life, cool. Yes, Adama, what creates more joy? I wonder what creates more joy for you. And I wonder if it's the creation of it is you being willing to be the joy that you already are and receive more of the things, the people, the experiences that contribute to that joy. I wonder. And what else is possible? Who knows? So if you're not familiar with the tools of Access Consciousness, that is a really amazing body of work, which isn't really the focus of these Facebook Lives, but they are some amazing pragmatic tools that I have been using in my life over the last several years, and I love being able to have more tools in my toolbox to go and utilize to contribute to me being more of me, having more to share with others, and just creating more of the joy that I already am. And so if you're not familiar with Access, you can look it up. accessconsciousness.com. There's all kinds of blogs and all kinds of amazing information on there. You can send me a private message. You can visit my website, jennylyn.com, and then go over to the Coaching Facilitation Energy Work tab, which will then, there's some videos and different things on what I utilize from Access Consciousness. Adama, you can connect with her, and there's lots of different facilitators all around the world. It's in over 183 countries. Amazing body of work. Again, because I kind of mentioned it yesterday too, it's not the source, it's not the answer. It is really freaking wicked cool, outside of the box tools that literally can contribute to facilitating you, creating and changing anything, literally anything you desire to create and change, and even like beyond what you think you might be able to create and or change. And you just might get happier. You just might tap back in to that natural state of happiness and joy that's already you if you choose to begin to utilize some of those tools in your life. So that's enough for the Access Consciousness plug. You could tell I'm a little passionate about those. So thanks for asking the questions and being the energy that you be, Adama, because that just was a contribution to more joy for me and sharing more of some of what I utilize in the creation of more joy. But yeah, like, there's a lot of different crazy things that show up along this journey called life. Okay, a lot of little, what may seem like derailments or detours or whatever it might be, because we get these fixed thoughts in our minds about how life should be or how it should show up or what we think it's supposed to look like, which it never shows up the way we think it's going to, by the way. And that's so cool, because like, we live in this infinite field of energies, this infinite universe with infinite possibilities. So why on ever would we try to like limit that down to this little teeny tiny box of the way we think it's supposed to look, like that small, when we can have access to all of it, right? Gets a lot more fun having lots of possibilities and lots of choices. I mean, at least for me anyway, that contributes to having more joy in my life when there's lots of possibilities and lots of choices available. But yeah, like, we can choose to focus on the things that we think are wrong, the things that we think are problems, the things that we think are not working, and or we can really start to invite more joy and start to explore what fun body movements, what fun experiences, what other things may contribute to having a life that like truly love, and one that's not built on what you should be doing based on your parents, your siblings, schools, society, social media. Like, there's all these rules and all these messages around how we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to create. Like, I talk about it even in the chapter when I write about how I used to be a model, and how I did not cover all the steps yet, Adama. I'm doing one a day till Sunday. So we're on step 2 today. So we'll do one a day. So 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time again tomorrow. I will do step 3, because I'm kind of taking a little bit of a deeper dive into what all these steps are, what I actually mean by them when I say them. Not steps, tips, sorry. 6 tips. Thank you. I'm covering one a day just so I can dive a little more into, like, what do I even mean by them when I say them? Because you can look at them face value and kind of interpret what they mean when you read the book, but like, there's nothing like hearing it from my perspective or my point of view that you can buy or not buy, choose what works for you, about what I actually mean by them, and then actually also share some more of my story in there too. So when I was growing up, I was really tall. Yes, what works for you. Please always choose what works for you. That's one way you can contribute to me if you would like to, having more joy, because I get so lit up contributing to other people and seeing other people choose what works for them. Like there's something about that for me that lights me up like nothing else. So I like being around happy people. I like seeing more happy people on the planet. So please choose what works for you as a contribution to you and to me too. How does it get any better than that? So yeah, I grew up like being in really gifted advanced classes, in school, right? With, for the most part, pretty much people who didn't necessarily look like me. And so I was always different that way, right? I was really tall, and when I started modeling, I was kind of in that preteen phase, and so I was too tall for children's clothes, but not tall enough or old enough yet to do preteen modeling. So there was always this energy and this kind of like fight within me of being too much and then also being not enough. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, because it is kind of this thing that exists for a lot of people. I see this polarity that exists for a lot of people with different things. And so that was the polarity that I grew up with, this fight of even having to be told, watch your energy when you walk into a room, because when you walk into the room, you change the room. But nobody ever told me what that meant. Nobody ever told me what that looked like, what I was supposed to be doing. Like, it created a lot of confusion up here for me about who I even was, what I was supposed to be doing, what I wasn't supposed to be doing. And so, thankfully, through utilizing the tools of access, I have let go of a lot of that. Everything's not gone, right? It's not the answer, the cure-all, just really cool tools. But a lot of that is gone, thankfully, and now I just get to play with choice. Like, if I choose this, what will it create in my life? If I choose this, I wonder, like, what will show up, or how it will turn out, or what else is possible. So I can get out of judging me, out of trying to get it right, out of trying not to be wrong, and really kind of focus and hone in more on what actually brings me joy. What actually, and there I go saying the bring me joy thing, but what contributes to the creation, the expansion, the exponentialization of the joy that I already am. And so I'm going to kind of wrap it all up and end with really just asking you to really kind of play with, and if you're already playing with this, continue to play with asking some questions and maybe trying some new things and exploring what actually is going to contribute to the creation of you having way more joy than you ever thought possible in your life, in your body, in your being, in your whole entire reality, right? Because like the more joyful our bodies get, the more they actually contribute to creating more joy in our lives as well, because our bodies are like these amazing sensory organs that are full of tons of information that can actually contribute to creating with and for us. So I'm going to leave you with that. Create a life you love that's full of a lot of joy. And tomorrow we will move on to tip number 3. Bye.